Hello again, everybody. This is Chris from D&CGaming again, coming at you with another Titanfall 2 multiplayer tech test video. So, last video was, if you remember, if you've seen it, was my overall impressions on what I thought of the multiplayer tech test for Titanfall 2. I'm gonna be honest, I feel like I did rush that video out a little. I found out about the tech test like a day after it happened, so I was already behind, and due to other issues that I won't talk about, I was very pressed for time, so it was either I did it and rushed it out, or I didn't do it at all. And I wanted to do a video on Titanfall 2's multiplayer tech test, so I did. But I also said in that video that I was going to do another one, which I am right now, pretty much breaking down the things I noticed that were different, like some of the changes I noticed from playing it. Now bear in mind, everything I'm going to say is all based off my experience playing the multiplayer tech test demo. So obviously, I'm not going to notice everything, and I'm sure there's going to be things people who have played it more than I have, or played a lot of Titanfall 1, are going to notice a lot of differences. So, with all that said, if you notice anything I didn't, you can leave it down in the comments below. Maybe you can correct me if there's something I'm wrong about. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about that I noticed was different was the new game mode called Bounty. So in my last video, I briefly mentioned that this game mode essentially is very similar to Headhunter from Halo Reach, if you've ever played that. And essentially, it is like that, but it's more complex than that. So the way it works is pretty much you and the enemy team, obviously you're trying to kill each other, but also, as you can see in the footage, there's these NPC enemies that spawn on the map. Now, at the start of the match they spawn, and they spawn in waves. So essentially, what happens is, they spawn and you kill them, and every time you kill them, you get points. And these points are, well, they're money, which you can see in the bottom left-hand corner in the footage right now. And essentially, for killing enemy, like NPCs, get you points. And there's a certain amount each wave. So after you kill all of them, the wave ends. Now, when the wave ends, the banks, which are on both opposite ends of the map, open. And what you have to do is you go to the bank and you deposit all the money or points that you have on you, and that increases your team's score. So by doing that, essentially that's how you win the game, is whatever team either reaches 6,000 points or whatever team has more points by the end of if the time runs out, which oftentimes, a lot of time, essentially most of the matches you play, the time essentially will run out before one team reaches the max score, at least if you're playing a really good match. Now, the catch is that every time you die, you lose a percentage of the money you have. Now, I don't know exactly what the exact percent is, but it seems to be around like 50%, I want to say. That's a pretty good estimate. So whenever anything kills you, whether it be an NPC or another player, you lose your money. Now, if another player kills you, they gain the money you lose, whatnot. Now, also on the map, on different waves, there's like boss enemies. They're in Titans, and these guys are worth a lot of points if you can manage to take them down. And whenever someone takes it down, it actually says like their gamer tag and says what team, got the bounty. So you know whether you won or lost that one, which is nice. And essentially, these guys are pretty tough. I mean, you're definitely going to need to be in a Titan and take them down, unless a lot of people are hitting them with anti-Titan rifles, or weapons, excuse me. There's also, like, mini little Titans I noticed. There's a small Titan called Reaper that's very small and actually is possible to take on by yourself without a Titan. And if you're in a Titan, then obviously you can easily take him. Now, the Titans themselves, the Titan NPC bosses, they're pretty tough, which is good. You should have to, work for them. But the regular NPCs like the Spectres and Grunts, those guys are still kind of easy. You know, they're a little too easy. I think they should be bumped up a little so they can pose kind of a threat. Because one man can single-handedly take pretty much all of them out. Which is a little disappointing, if I say so myself. I mean, sometimes they might kill you if, like, you're shooting another player and they're all shooting you. Or maybe they throw a grenade, they might get you, but most of the time, you're going to easily kill them, no problem. Now, during the waves, the banks are locked, so you can't deposit your money. So, after each wave, the banks are only open for a limited amount of time, so you have to get back to them to deposit your money to, you know, increase your score. And I really like this element because what's cool about it is it's just like, it's like a race to the finish, and, you know, you're trying to stop the enemy players from, you know, handing in the money they have. Because that, you know, if you kill them, you get their money, you can deposit a lot, and it's really satisfying when you manage to, you know, stop a guy who has a lot of money and take all of his, or most of his, and then deposit it for yourself. It's one of those very satisfying moments in gaming. I really, really enjoyed this game mode. It's really cool. It's actually the only game mode that has, like, the NPC enemies as well, I noticed, at least in this multiplayer tech demo. So it's pretty fun, but now I'm going to move on to the next change I want to talk about. So what I want to talk about next are the Titans. So a big change is the way the Titans are. As I said in my last video, Titans are more like characters now that you would pick in like a game like League of Legends. They have like their own play styles to them now. So the one I'm playing as right here is Ion. And just for the record, I don't know if it's me, but her voice, like the computer AI voice for her, sounds kind of like Liara from Mass Effect. I don't know if that's just me, but anyway. So, the way this Titan plays is she has this gun, which I think is called like the Splitter or something like that, and when you aim it, it splits the shot into 3 blasts, which makes it much better for shooting regular pilots. I think it might do less damage when you do that. And when you fire it from the hip, it shoots like, you know, regular, normal energy blasts. Now, her abilities are, she has the Vortex Shield, which can catch, you know, objects. And she has a little laser beam that, if you hit targets in their weak spots, it does a lot of damage. It's also a good way to kill enemy pilots. Then she also has this interesting ability called, like, tripwires, where she places these 3 little tripwires on the ground right there, as you just saw. And it creates these little laser beams, and when a Titan walks over it, or anything walks over it, boom, does a lot of damage. It's pretty cool. Now also, Titans have an ultimate attack. Now hers is this laser beam of death that does a humongous amount of damage. And it's really, really cool. So you have to build up your core by getting points, killing enemies, you know, all that good stuff. And then you can fire your laser and blow stuff up. It's really cool. Now, I didn't play as the other Titan, Scorch, but from what I've seen from other people playing as him, is he's got some fire abilities, and I think his ultimate's like a ground pound that sends like a shockwave of fire that does a lot of damage. And pretty much, he's more... Also, Titans have like difficulty ratings, like stars, so Ion's is like 1 star, because I guess she's very simple and easy to pick up and play, while Scorch's, his is 2 stars, so he's more difficult and you have to, I guess, learn how to play him. Now the next thing is I want to talk about the tactical abilities that the characters have. So one thing I noticed right off the bat is when you use a tactical, when you selected a tactical ability and you put it on your character, I noticed it changes the appearance of your character. So right here I am using the grappling hook, and my character looks like a robot. If I'm being honest, I don't really like that at all, how it kind of forces your character to change their appearance based on what ability you use. I feel like that kind of hurts customization, but anyway. So, the grappling hook's a new move, and the way it works is, well, it's a grappling hook, essentially. And I really like it because it adds a lot more mobility to this, a game that already has a lot of more mobility to it, which is really, really awesome. So, you can fire the grappling hook 2 times, and then it has to recharge. Now, obviously, the grappling hook, it has some range to it. You can, grapple onto stuff when you're pretty far away, but it's not, that long. There'll be times where you go to grapple and you'll be just out of reach. So it takes some practice, but eventually you get, the idea of how close you have to be to successfully grapple. So as you can see right there, I try it and I'm out of range. Now I use it and I'm in range. And this helps you get to like high areas that you might not be able to get to otherwise. Now that tower, you can get up there without a grappling hook. It's possible, I've done it. But it takes a lot longer. And if you're a sniper and you're trying to snipe, getting into position is one of the most important things a sniper needs to do. So you want to get set up as fast as possible so you can, be ready to snipe people, when they come into view. And if you take forever to get up, to a tower or a vantage point, it's just not going to work then as well. You're going to be missing, free kills. But the grappling hook is really cool because what it also can do is it can also grapple on the Titans. So you can grapple onto a Titan and you literally can, home in on them and, board them, which is really awesome. Now, if you try boarding them from the front, they're probably going to punch you as you're getting closer to them. But what's really cool is like if you get ejected from like your Titan and you're up in the sky, now you can like, jump on them from above and reel yourself in, and you might be able to, get on them. Of course, if they're also in the distance, whatnot, and you're tracing them and you're just in range to grapple them, then you can get from behind them and get on as well. So it's really cool. It's very handy to like, get in and out of situations, which is why it's a really cool feature. But even more cooler is you have the ability to actually grapple an enemy player and then kick them. Like you reel in and then you kick them and it one-hits them. It's really, really cool feature. I really, really like it. I think I'll show a clip of that right now. So right here, I'm on the Titan, and I'm shooting at this guy. I'm missing horribly, and I managed to get this guy, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And then right here, this right here, it's coming right up now. I turn around, I see that guy, and I grapple right here. Watch this, and bam! Kick him right in the face. It's one of the most satisfying things like to do in this entire game and whatnot. Moments like that are really awesome, and that's why I really like the grappling hook a lot. Now there's also the pulse blade, which highlights targets that go in its radius. I'm not sure if that's new or not because it's been a while since I played the first Titanfall game. Then there's the cloak, which that's not new. Then there's the hologram. That's new, and it's very similar to Halo Reach. I've never used it myself, and I've only seen one person use it, but it's supposed to mimic your movement and, create a decoy, which that looks really cool. And I mean, if it's anything like Halo Reach, then it's going to be a really fun ability to mess around with. So anyway, let me talk about the next topic. So the next topic is about boarding Titans, and this is where it gets really, really interesting. So jumping on Titans is pretty much the same thing. You jump on them and you're good, but what you actually do when you get on them is different and interesting. So I'm going to show you a clip right here and pretty much talk you through what happens. So right here, as you see, I'm jumping on the Titan like you would in the last game, but instead of pulling out my gun and shooting the Titan, my character rips a battery out of the Titan right here, and then he just jumps off. Now this next clip you're going to see right here is me jumping on another Titan. Now right here, we do the same thing. We jump on the Titan just like we did in the last clip. However, you'll see what happens here is a little different. Now this time, instead of ripping out a battery, my character pulls out a grenade and he just simply fires in the hole and drops it in, and then jumps off just like in the clip before. So as you can clearly see, they changed how it works. So now you rip out a battery, and then if you jump on the Titan again, you plant a grenade in where the hole where the battery used to be. So it's interesting now. Now, planting the grenade doesn't actually destroy the Titan. Ripping out the battery and planting a grenade, they both do damage, but they don't guarantee that the Titan is destroyed. I mean, obviously if the Titan's low on health and you plant the grenade or rip the battery out, it does damage, I've seen it. But it's interesting because now like you and your friend can kind of like take turns. Like you could jump on, rip the battery out, then your friend can jump on and plant the grenade and then jump off. It's no longer based on your gun. Now it's a very interesting mechanic and reason why your character rips out the battery. In the next clip I'm going to show you right here, I'm going to explain why you rip out the battery and what it kind of does. I still haven't completely figured it out yet though, but you'll see in a second. So right here I just, jumped on a Titan, planted the grenade. Now I jump on a friendly Titan by accident, and now right here, notice, I put the core inside him, or battery inside him, excuse me. So what's really cool is if you pick up a battery from an enemy Titan, you actually can insert it into a friendly Titan if their battery was removed. Now I'm not 100% sure what the battery does. I think it might restore a little health to the Titan or give them their shields back, possibly, but it's a very interesting mechanic. Now the last thing I wanted to talk about that's new is the execution features. These are very similar to Halo Reach's assassinations, where you sneak up behind an enemy, melee them, and you perform a badass animation, killing them with style. So as you can see right here, I snap this guy's neck, and it feels really good. Now, I wonder though, if you can customize that, like what type of animation you do, or if there's different ones based on whether you're a robot or a human, because in this next clip that I'm about to show you from the little promo video, it shows a different animation, and the guy is a human character. So right here in this very next clip, as he right there, he punched him, and he did a much different animation than the robot did. So I wonder if it's based on whether you're a human or a robot. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to ever pull off an execution when I was playing as a human, so I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But that about wraps it up for this video. So if you like this video, remember to give it hit the subscribe button, give it a like, all that good stuff, and stay tuned for more videos regarding not just Titanfall 2, but other games. And check out the channel. Me and my friend Dan have we've done a couple other games. So that's it. This is Chris from D&CGaming signing off.